ones that are still here are the ones that people didn't turn in. But this is what happens. I mean, the government's going to start doing all these things and turn everybody into a criminal. And you know, they've already turned all the brokerage firms into spies. I mean, everybody, I'm a broker now in this country, and I'm required to constantly spy on all my clients, and it costs me $1 million a year to do it, and I got to spy on you every time you do something. I got to look at what you do. I got to run your name against the database, and if anything looks fishy, I got to tell the government, hey, this guy, but I mean, it's, you know, they've turned the whole financial industry. Of course, they claim that we're looking for terrorists, but it's all nonsense. I mean, nobody's a terrorist. They're looking for tax evaders. And they're trying to clamp down on it. And they're putting that into motion because they know that taxes are going to go way up and no one's going to want to pay it. So they're going to try to find a way to enforce you know, these type of rates, which is one of the other reasons too, I think, that a lot of young people are just going to leave. You know, just go and move to another country and go to a country where they can earn their money and keep it. Yeah.
Do you see a chaotic collapse of society and a loss of essential services?
That's in a worst case scenario, but it's not impossible. I mean, look, if we get what I think we're going to have, prices are going to start to run out of control. Well, what stupid things have governments done in the past? Because generally governments repeat all the stupid things over and over again. They never learn from their mistakes. So in the 1970s, after the government created a lot of inflation in the 60s, they responded with price controls. They'll probably do that again. I think there's going to be price controls on all sorts of food products, on energy, and what does that do? That means there's shortages. That means there's long lines. That means there's black markets. That means there's civil unrest. There's going to be a lot more unemployment. Cities are not going to have the money to provide some of the services, including maybe even police protection, fire protection. I mean, things could get very, very bad in this country. When you have a lot of unemployed people who are pissed off and who are living in the dark without food, you know? Yeah.
It seems like so much is stacked against the American, you know, what producers we have left here. What is going to need to spark, you know, true production of companies here in the United States?
Well, what we need is to, you know, to have, unfortunately, we're going to need a lower dollar as a consequence of how uncompetitive we already are. So the dollar is going to come down, so wages are going to come down. But what we're going to need is higher interest rates so that we will have savings for businesses to borrow, to invest. But we're going to have a smaller government with less regulation and lower taxes. We can't get lower taxes until we shrink government. So again, we're going to have to start dismantling this gigantic government that has been built up over the years. You know, every year we send more people to Congress, and they write all these laws, and they have all these new programs. But like, can't we just go back to the government the way it was 30 or 40 years? Can't we live with that? You know, sure, I mean, we had a whole country. I mean, look, the country was here before the income tax. Right, no one really paid the income tax until 1942 when we passed the victory withholding tax. How did the country make it to the Second World War without an income tax? Because the government was a lot smaller. Right, the government didn't do all this stuff. But why does it have to do all this stuff? So we just have to stop doing that, and then we can be competitive again if you know, if the government will let us. The problem is when they put all these barriers in our way, we don't do anything. We can't accomplish. Yeah. I mean, look, that's up to you. I mean, I'm staying here. I mean, hopefully I won't regret that. But look, I don't know. I mean, I ultimately, if the U.S. government doesn't, you know, impose, you know, if we don't lose too many rights and too many liberties, I mean, and ultimately, if you do the right thing with your money right now, you know, for you, living in America could be okay. It's like you know, vacationing in a poor country. You know, hey, what's going on with the power? Huh? Am I out of time? What's up? Oh, anyway, look, I know there's a lot of questions. I wish I could just stay and answer them all. But maybe all the brokers are in the back, you know, we can get your questions answered.